Welcome to Astrology with Margot. Today I'll be talking about the new moon in Pisces, but first make sure to subscribe, like, and hit that notification button. Pisces new moon, where dreams meet a sober reality. Pisces is a mutable water sign with the ultimate flexibility. It rules emotional expansion, sensitivity, divinity, and the dreamy realm of imagination. Think of the universe, its infinite, boundless, and all-encompassing unity. That's very much like Pisces. This new moon is asking us to dream big, with our hearts wide open, and to replace any fear with faith, and allow this to hold our intentions. So I invite you to really allow yourself to sit within the infinite, to open your heart to feelings and let them paint a creative network of possibility, of optimism. This new moon has the serious support of Saturn and soon nourishing Venus, while simultaneously we have the Mars and Uranus square perfecting as this new moon takes place. This is presenting a sudden and unexpected disruption with the energy of frustration. This conflict can bring in a creative solution. It's a side story that's adding fuel to this new intention in the house of Pisces. Unexpected, uncalled for. The only solution is to take on undeniable self-responsibility with faith for the future. So let's dive in to this new moon and what makes it so special. New moons equate new beginnings. It's when the sun and moon conjoin together in the sky for their monthly meetup. It's a time of deep reflection, deep meditations. The sun represents our perspective and focus, while the moon represents our emotions and a reflection. Having a new moon in the archetype of Pisces, it invites us to reflect upon our dreams, possibilities, and the sense of optimism. So there's three key astrological things going on right now that kind of paint this picture of this new moon. The first is Saturn in Pisces. Saturn entered Pisces March of 2023 and will be here until 2026. It is calling in a revision for the house of Pisces. It's bringing structure through discipline and calling for us to take on a greater sense of responsibility. Saturn in Pisces, as an altogether archetype, can be quite limiting. Saturn rules limitations, it rules restrictions, and when it's in the sign of Pisces, the part of us that can tend to feel very optimistic can feel more pessimistic. But the beauty of it is it offers us like a serious, sober reality check. So this new moon is acting like a stepping stone for taking on more self-responsibility in this area of our life. It's that energy of like, all right, I have these dreams, I have this imagination, Pisces, and how can I actualize them? How can I embody this dream? How can I build a structure to hold and support this idea? The next aspect is we have Venus entering Pisces on March the 11th, just a few days after this new moon. This is happening when the moon is literally like receiving light. New moons are a time of complete darkness. It's when we're going inward, we're feeling into our vision, and when Venus enters Pisces, we'll actually start to begin to see our vision come to light, come to life. So Venus is exalted in Pisces. This means she does her very best. She has all the resources she needs to enjoy herself and to really create harmony and pleasure and the desire to share that. So with Venus coming into the scene, we can look at it as nourishing the vision. With Saturn having been here since March of 2023, Venus's presence will kind of soften the hardened soil and kind of make this area of life come back to life for it maybe having felt stagnant. So as we are approaching this new intention, we're thinking about how to nurture it, this vision, we have Mars squaring Uranus. This is kind of a side story, but whatever unexpected disruption arises within our lives will add fuel for this new direction we're taking. It doesn't have to make sense now, but just know that things are being cleared out. We're being called to innovate, to be creative with our resources, and to find a more efficient way to create stability within a very unstable time. So as promised, next I have horoscopes for all 12 rising signs. I'll also have a timestamp linked below in the caption notes to kind of make this easier access. If you're an Aries rising, this new moon is taking place in the 12th house of mental health, deep retreat, reclusion, the unconscious, and the soul. It's a place of self-undoing. Having Saturn present here since March of 2023 to 2026 means there is a lot of soul excavation going on and restructuring. And on top of this, new beginning, there is an invitation to restructure how you relate to your mental health, to your soul, to your subconscious. A side story happening simultaneously with this new moon is Mars in Aquarius, the 11th house, squaring Uranus in Taurus, the 2nd house. So Aquarius rules your place of community, friends, good fortune. This is also online spaces, and there is a tension here with the 2nd house of money and resources. This is things that you own. Whatever conflict that is happening here will kind of push you more into that 12th house, into that place of deep meditation and reclusion. There is something here for you. I can't tell you exactly what that is, but if you find a quiet place to sit and meditate, you will find your answers there. If you're a Taurus rising, this new moon is asking for a new beginning in the 11th house. This is of community, friends, good fortune. This can also be online spaces. Having Saturn here since March of 2023 to 2026 means there is new developments in the space of community, a restructuring, re-angling how you relate with other people. Simultaneously, we have this square between Mars and Aquarius of your 10th house career with tension to the 1st house of Taurus of self. So there is tension when it comes to these topics, and it is asking for you to kind of be creative and innovative when it comes to the type of work you do and what you bring to the world and to the table. If you're Gemini rising, this new moon is taking place in the 10th house of career and self-responsibility. Mars entered here of March of 2023 and will be here until 2026. There is more authority, more responsibility when it comes to matters of work. Maybe you have started working for yourself or taken on a position of authority. This new moon is offering a new invitation with how you relate to this area of life. Simultaneously, there is the Mars and Uranus square. This is creating tension, presenting a challenge between the ninth house of higher education, travel, your beliefs and your philosophies, how you see the world, with the part of your chart that rules the soul, the unconscious, a place of deep retreat. So there might be some like shifting and changing unexpectedly with your views on the world and the perspectives that you hold. This could also result in change with how you navigate the workspace. Yeah, that's all I have to say for you, Gemini risings. If you're a Cancer rising, this new moon is calling in a new beginning, a new intention to the ninth house of beliefs, philosophy, higher education, and foreign land and travel. Having Saturn here since March of 2023, how you relate to the world and this divinity, this concept, is restructuring. This new moon is offering more of that stepping stone to step into these newer beliefs that you're developing. This is a great space to really sit and meditate, and also could be a time of like very active dreams. The ninth house rules dreams and divination. Simultaneously, there is tension with this Mars and Uranus square. Mars is in Aquarius, your eighth house. This is a place of shared resources, of debts, and also of things a little more taboo, like magic and the spiritual energetics of relationships. So there's tension here with the 11th house of Taurus, which rules community and friends. And whatever tension here could be kind of pushing you to step more into exploring and navigating your beliefs and your perspectives when it comes to what divinity and God means for you. If you're a Leo rising, this new moon is lighting up the 8th house. But before I jump into that, let's talk about the Mars and Uranus square. So for you, this is creating tension between career and like one-on-one relationships or business partnerships. There's some tension here, but through this unexpected tension, there will be more of like a creative solution with how you navigate these two places. You have Jupiter in your house of career for this next year, bringing a lot of abundance and benefit to lean into. And as you step into more of this abundance, more of these opportunities in your career, you could be experiencing some conflict with like who you're doing business with. However, this will lead to a creative change in your business endeavors. Now, this new moon in your 8th house, the 8th house rules are shared resources, debts or loans, inheritance, while also the energetic side of the sharedness that comes from these close relationships. Another note, it rules like magic and the occult, so maybe there's just some new structuring in how you view yourself and how you share these things with other people. If you're a Virgo rising, this new moon is calling in a new beginning to the 7th house of relationships. This can be marriage, business partnerships, but like ultimately the type of person that you could call in the middle of the night and they would pick up. So Saturn's been here since March of 2023, bringing in like a sober reality check to your dynamics and how you relate to your close interpersonal relationships. This new moon is acting like a stepping stone to step into a new way of relating. Now, Venus will also be arriving on March the 11th. This is like an amazing transit for Virgos. You could be meeting someone, or just in general, like your close relationships could feel very enriched, and there's like a lot to share, a lot of pleasure, a lot of harmony. So simultaneously with this new beginning in relationships, there is tension brewing in the sky. So this is with Mars in Aquarius, the 6th house of our day-to-day like rituals, our health, There could be like a lot going on when it comes to work and commitments, or possibly even burnout. And this square is happening with the ninth house of education. This is a place of travel, also just like larger perspective. So this background tension between like your obligations, what you have going on, and like education is kind of fueling in that desire to like look at your relationships again, to like create different types of structure that support you as you also navigate the rest of your life. If you're a Libra rising, this new moon is bringing in a new intention when it comes to matters of the sixth house. This rules our health, our day-to-day activities, and like our workload. So ever since Saturn joined the picture here back in March of 2023, there's been more of like a looking at our health, how we structure our days, and like how that affects us. So this new moon is inviting you to step into more responsibility with how you take care of yourself and delegate your time. And as much as that might have felt restrictive, you might actually start to feel more of the benefit of a routine coming around like March 11th and for the next couple of weeks as Venus visits this house. Now, simultaneously in the background, we have the Mars square Uranus. Mars has been in Aquarius, your fifth house of joy. This is a place of sexuality, children, creativity, just like pleasure in general. There's been a lot of energy to like move these topics, to navigate this, but there is a tension with the eighth house of Taurus, where Uranus is. The eighth house rules like shared resources. It's the space where like if you've got close partnerships, all the stuff like that's behind the scenes falls into this house. The eighth house also rules like debts and shared resources. So there's some tension between these two topics. And whatever unexpected tension or challenge arises from this might like bring you into more self-responsibility when it comes to your day-to-day tasks. If you're a Scorpio rising, this new moon in Pisces is calling in a new beginning in the fifth house of joy, creativity, and children, as well as sex, just pleasure in general. So Saturn has been here since March of 2023, bringing in some like restrictions and difficulties or limitations within these topics. And this new moon is like inviting you to really take responsibility in your pleasure, in your joy. And however you restructure that, like, will look different for everyone. And Venus is soon on her way. So if you do have any creative projects, like, there's just going to be an easier access to pleasure, to this creative energy in the coming weeks. Now, simultaneously, we have this Mars square Uranus energy really activating the place of home and relationships, like one-on-one. This could be romantic or business related. However, there could be just some unexpected disruptions within the relationships, within your home life, that kind of push you more into this creative space. So curious for you Scorpio risings out there how this is manifesting for you. This is my personal rising sign, so I would absolutely love to hear like what's going on in your life. If you're Sagittarius rising, this new moon is bringing in a new intention, a new beginning to the fourth house of home, ancestry, parents, childhood, but quite literally like where you live. Now, ever since March of 2023, there has been more of like a block, more of a restriction in these matters, while also like navigating on taking more responsibility when it comes to the area of home life or family. Simultaneously, there is tension brewing between the house of Aquarius, which is your third house. That's like community, communication, like cars and traveling, like sharing of ideas. This area there is like a challenge that is unexpectedly coming up with also like matters of work, your day-to-day life, your health. Whatever conflict is like arising through these two houses is kind of like pushing more of that desire, that intention to create that stability at home. Now on March 11th, Venus will enter the picture and she'll come into the fourth house, bringing with it many blessings. So that curious how that will transpire for you. If you're a Capricorn rising, this new moon is bringing in a new opportunity, a new beginning to the third house. The third house rules communication, short distance travels, siblings, and it's kind of a busy house as well as like with your neighborhood, your like local environment. Saturn's been here since March of 2023, bringing in like more of a structure, taking on more responsibility or maturing our communication, maybe your relationships with your siblings, or stepping up more when it comes to matters of like your neighborhood. So there is a new opportunity here. Not sure what that looks like for you. Very curious if you would like to share in the comments. Now, in the background of this new moon, we have the Mars square Uranus. Mars is currently in Aquarius. That's your second house of finances and resources. Having Mars here, Venus too, means that there's probably been like just more expenditures. And the place of resources is squaring Taurus, which is your fifth house of children, creativity, joy. So maybe there's been spending more money on things that bring you joy, or like more money going out to your kids. Like it could really manifest in a lot of different ways. But like this challenge, this tension between resources and children and joy is kind of like pushing you into your community more, pushing you into like communicating, taking on more responsibility to these Piscean matters. If you're an Aquarius rising, this new moon in Pisces is bringing in a new opportunity to the second house of income, resources, money, like quite literally the things you own, and also expenses. Now, Saturn has been present here since March of 2023. So there's been like a serious effort to take more responsibility when it comes to your finances, your income. There also at the same time could feel more of like a restriction when it comes to money. However, come March 11th, when Venus enters this house, like Venus does really well in the second house. Like she rules money. So there could be more resources coming in, like quite literally, which is nice because having Saturn here, like she's going to kind of soften the scene a bit. Now we also have this Mars in Aquarius squaring Uranus in Taurus. Mars is in your first house of self. So for the last little bit, there's been like more energy, potentially even more inflammation or burnout. And it's in tension with like the place of home, Taurus, like where you live. So there is some like unexpected challenge that's coming up with home, family, childhood, mother, and then first house, like you, self. So whatever challenge is brewing could kind of push you into taking more responsibility when it comes to these finances and like how you support yourself. If you're Pisces rising, this new moon, this new beginning, this new intention is in your first house of self. This house rules your physical body and like you full on with how you meet the world. Now, since March of 2023, Saturn has been in your first house. It's bringing more of a responsibility when it comes to how you take care of your body and how you relate with other people. Saturn can feel restrictive, but this new moon, alongside with Venus on her way to spend the next couple of weeks here, there's really like this like stepping into who you want to be. This new moon is serving as like that stepping stone to really like stand in yourself and to stand strong. Now, there is this like tension going on in the background right now. We have Mars in Aquarius, the 12th house. Like this can lead to burnout, a lot of like energy going on in the subconscious, your mental health, like just things that you need to tend to and like kind of like retreat from the world a bit. And this need to retreat is in tension with your third house of Taurus. The third house is like your community, but like your local neighborhood, like people that live around you. It's about communication, vehicles and cars, even like workshops and small projects. So this tension that's kind of going on in the background is pushing you to take more self-responsibility when it comes to how you negotiate with others and with yourself in matters of care. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for being here. This is my first YouTube video and I plan on making many more. If you're interested in a personal reading to look at how the astrology of this year is lighting up your life, you can find me at margot.com. Again, thank you so much for being here.